another device.
No, you're watching it with.
Watch on Facebook.
You said I could watch it on something else. So
Yeah, just watch it on Facebook, Ma.
No, Mrs. Broide. This is great. We're almost ready for you.
I don't understand this technology. Okay.
9:20 sign on. That's all you need to know.
9:20. 9:20. All right, we are live on Facebook.
Okay.
Mrs. Broide, great seeing you. Come back to 9:20. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Behind the Bima, episode number. What episode are we up to, gentlemen?
Are we 4? Is this 4?
I think it's 5. I think this is episode 5.
I'm going.
And let me tell you, this is a very exciting night. We have so much to talk about, so much to share tonight. But we're going to begin as we do every week by first saying l'chaim to life, moderately, responsibly, only if you're the right age, only if you can handle it. But you know what? You deserve it. We'll be going through a tough time, and if you're blessed to have bracha in your life right now, then you want to say l'chaim to life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shekol niyeh b'dvaro.
Amen. I am drinking tonight a delicious glass of Shiloh Privilege, and I'm doing it not as a coincidence. I'm doing it because we have an incredible event coming up. Rabbi Moskowitz, you want to talk about it for a moment?
Yeah, we are partnering with Amichai Luri from the Shiloh Winery in Israel, one of my favorite brands of wine. And I happen to be a big fan of Amichai. He's a real tzaddik, a very good person. And we reached out to him and said, wouldn't it be great if we did a virtual wine tasting? How much fun would that be if Amichai got up at 4 o'clock in the morning in Israel time and was able to do a tasting with us, explain to us how to sip wine, how to open wine, how to preserve wine. And Amichai is so excited, and it's going to be a fantastic event.
Unbelievable. Amazing. So everybody sign up because the slots are filling up quickly. But the truth is Shiloh is not our sponsor for tonight. We have an amazing sponsor for tonight. Let's see if I could find him and we can welcome him on. If not, we'll just introduce his incredible product. Is he called in on the Zoom? I don't see him here. But let me tell you about it. Our good friend, Mark Bleckner, is an amazing guy. Rabbi Moskowitz, you know him for a long time. You could talk about him in a moment.
Grew up in his household.
But he's got a beautiful product called Shabbos Light. And I want to tell you, all of us, we could talk about the Shabbos Light. Good job, Brody. The Shabbos Light is an amazing program. We're not just talking about them as if they're just a sponsor. We are all, it's like the hair club for men. We are not, at least we're not just.
Wait 1 second. We're going to do a whole separate show on that.
We're not just the president. We're also a user. This Shabbos clock is incredible. What makes this Shabbos clock different than ordinary Shabbos clocks? Well, first of all, we got a few models over here. It's got rabbinic supervision, rabbinic approval. The Shabbos clock is unbelievable. There's a clip-on version, and then there's the desktop version that I have right here. This desktop version, you're not going to believe it. First of all, you've got a thing that slides over the power button. So you, your wife, the kid is crawling on your head in the middle of the night. Nobody can turn it off by accident. You've got a dimmer on top so that when your wife says, I'm trying to sleep, I can't see, and you're like, I can't fall asleep, I want to read, you could find exactly the right setting. It's got adjustable. Here's the best part. It's got a USB port. You could charge your phone once you plug this light in. And it even comes with, look at this, unbelievable. I don't even know what you'd call this. A case? A case. It's got an adapter to plug it in Israel, in America. Please, God, we'll all be going back to Israel soon. The Shabbos Light, shabboslight.com. Those who live in Boca, you can go on you can go to our local store, the Grove. Grove has them. Unbelievable. You can go on shabboslight.com. You can go on Amazon. It's an amazing product. Mark Bleckner is an amazing guy. But here's the thing. Mother's Day. This Sunday's Mother's Day. Mother's Day present for you, Cheved. Thanks, Mark. If you don't have a Mother's Day present yet, go to the Grove. Go on Amazon. There's still time. It's got a shutter dimmer, flexible gooseneck, adjustable, white light. Shine the light where you want it. USB port. Use around the world. What an incredible product. Now, I don't know about you. I need this product because here's the deal. And I don't want to start getting personal. I didn't have enough wine yet for that. But I will say this, one comment, and then I'll ask you what you think of your Shabbos lights. My one comment is this. You know, today, it's normal in the shidduch world to put out a resume, and the resume says, like, where'd you go to seminary? What's your dress size? Some Photoshop pictures attached. You know, anyone in your family ever on any medication? Did they observe the guidelines during the virus? Who knows what the resumes are going to say as you go forward? But none of that really relates to real life. You know what a resume should say? Can she sleep with the light on, or does the light have to be off? Can there be a light on within a 5-mile vicinity? Does the air conditioning have to be just right? That's what it really should say. Well, Mark Bleckner is a shalom biased man. He made a dimmer on this thing. Everyone could be happy. She could sleep. He can read. What an amazing Shabbos. Shalom bayis for everybody. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Mark Bleckner, thank you for this creation. Rabbi Moskowitz, any comments?
I'll tell you how good it is that we have 2 of them. I have the portable one right here, the clip-on one right here. In the box is the tabletop one. So good is it that we actually fought about it in our house this Shabbos. Who could use the Shabbos light? So my daughter got the clip-on one because she likes it on her bed. I took this one from my bedroom, and it's a total game changer. As you said, when you go to sleep at night, my wife, let's just say we're not always on the same schedules, and it was perfect. Shalom bayis. You got to dim the light. First of all, a tremendous amount of light. When it's on, it is really bright. And then you just, with a flip of a hand, you can turn it off. It's an amazing product. I was so happy to use it this Shabbos. It's a game changer in our house.
Apparently I said clock because I'm getting a lot of things telling me that it's a light, not a clock. So thanks for correcting me, guys. I can always rely on you to really have my back. It is a Shabbos light. Grove, Amazon, ShabbosLight.com, Mother's Day present. If your home doesn't have like 5 of these, you're really missing out. Mark, thank you. And we look forward to talking more about this a little bit later. But let's go on to our first topic. Rabbi Broide, how you got dressed for tonight?
I got dressed. This is a whole new me. I got a microphone. Thank you, Rabbi Kilstein. And we've got something special. We're going to talk about the hats, right? Getting especially dressed up tonight.
Yeah, we'll talk about the hats later. But, Broide, any comments? You may notice tonight that we've got 3 professional microphones. We're wearing AirPods headphones. I was wearing fancy, like pilot headphones before, and I was told by my greatest critics, i.e. my children, get those off and put in the AirPods. Broide, why are we wearing the AirPods, the mics? What are we upping our game for? Did you and I have a meeting? Talk about the meeting we had earlier today.
People have no idea what's about to happen. What we were told is that there's some very, very big shows out there, big podcasts getting millions of views, but we actually have a chance of beating them. We were told today in a meeting we had up in, I think it was in Baltimore, where they have already heard that the show is taking over the country. Everyone's listening to the show. And now we're going to be in your home, in your car, on so many different platforms.
Whoop. I just, hold on. I just turned on Facebook. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Sorry. Technology. Yeah. Until we up our game. Go ahead.
Listen, we're all learning. And that's why we all have these new fancy microphones. And this is only the first step to something even bigger where we're planning even for next week. So there's a whole lot happening. I mean, I can't even imagine what's about to happen.
Behind the Bima is going big time. And you know what the best part about it is, Rabbi Moskowitz? It's controversy free. We're not chauvinistic or we're not misogynistic. And we just talk about current events, what's going on in life. Rabbi Broide, you were involved in a little bit of a controversy earlier this week when I
was actually a guest,
when you were seeing another podcast.
He made the forward.
We made the front page of a national newspaper this week on another podcast, not for such a great reason. Obviously, everything was taken out of context like it usually is. But At the same time, the reason why they're obviously after me, they're after Rabbi Goldberg, after Rabbi Moskowitz. Are you blaming the media? Broide, are you blaming the media?
Fake
news out there.
Is it fake news in the media? Is that the go-to
But I know,
playbook?
Can I just tell you both? When you've actually made it to a really great program, when you start wearing your wife's makeup. That I can tell you. Don't worry about the shirt I'm wearing this week. Worry about the makeup I put on my face.
The truth is that other show is put out by our dear friends. They're amazing. They got a raw deal. It was actually a manufactured crisis. They love men, women, children. They love everybody, all Jews, and so do we. But this is controversy free. We got big stuff planned behind the Bima. You're going to see it coming out. Again, we're not investing a lot of time. That's the beautiful thing. We just get together. An hour a week with friends.
I don't think people fully appreciate this is as unscripted as it gets, right? We're not sitting around, we're mapping out the time. This is just a bunch of friends, rabbis, colleagues getting together, shooting the breeze, talking about some contemporary issues.
Although I'll be honest with you, sometimes you have to prove to people that you didn't really put in a lot of time. I'm pretty sure by now people figured that out and they believe us that we're really just getting together and figuring it out. So I want to start with this. Somebody contacted one of our great listeners this week, and they said to me, over the previous weeks, we've been talking about some of the heroes in the front line, some of the people who are doing amazing things. We talked about medical people. We've talked about the fire department, the police department. We've talked about elected officials. We've talked about a whole array of people on the front lines. But you know what? There were some that we left out. We want to acknowledge them tonight. And among them, we have the members of the Chevra Kadisha. Chevra Kadisha is not simple. I could tell you that I've been in touch with really the guru of the Chevra Kadisha of South Florida, a hero at the front lines who's done amazing things, Yerucham Kopelman, one of my dear friends, one of my heroes, a man who's either playing the drums at a simcha or who is the funeral director and the head of a Chevra Kadisha. He's either at a simcha or a levaya. He's dedicated his life to Klal Yisrael. And it's not just him. It's all the members of the Chevra. It's not easy these days. There's protocols have been updated. We've been learning about this virus as we go. And do you do normal Chevra Tahara? Do you not do Tahara? How do you prepare? What are the precautions that you take? Boca Raton Synagogue is a Chevra Kadisha. It's made up of pure volunteers. Mitzvah goreres mitzvah. One mitzvah leads to another. The money that comes in from Tahara goes entirely to Tomchei Shabbos, every penny of it. Our volunteers don't take one penny. They're at the front lines, and we salute them. I heard Budweiser put out their ad again, the WhatsApp ad for coronavirus.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just heard about
I
it.
saw that somewhere. So members of the Chevra
We should do that.
Kadisha,
We should make our own ad.
we salute you. I'll tell you who else we salute is, a lot of people are hungry these days and people are tired of cooking at home. We're living in my house. We got 11 people, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It gets tiring. It's hard. And there are still restaurants that are open, curbside pickup, only takeout. But there are mashgichim. And the mashgichim are leaving their family and they're washing their hands 100 times a day and taking precautions. The mashgichim are restaurant owners and proprietors. They're enabling us to be able to have food. And we're grateful to our local restaurants, the ORB, the mashgichim. We salute you. Thank you for all that you're doing. I want to thank you. And in a future show, we'll talk about another one of my heroes, Rabbi Pesach Weitz, the head of the ORB, is retiring. And he deserves a huge tribute. Maybe we'll bring him on. He's a great Ohev Yisrael and a great man, and we'll bring him on in the future. So here's my question for you tonight, because we're going to be joined soon by our moms. Are you guys ready for that?
Ooh. I don't know if I can handle that.
Are you nervous? Not nervous?
I'm a little nervous. My she's got a lot of dirt on me. Who knows what's going to come out?
Yeah. Okay.
I can tell you, my mom is extremely proud right now. She's like, you're on the radio, you're on a TV show with one of the biggest rabbis in the country. She's like, how'd you get there?
It's unbelievable. It's exciting. I'll tell you, I spoke to my mom this afternoon. She had hair and makeup over. I'm just joking. She did not have hair and makeup over, but she was excited.
How much time did you spend today figuring out how do you Zoom?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but I will also say there's a little bit of controversy that the mothers were invited on and not the mother-in-laws.
That's right.
Throw in a little extra controversy, the mothers and not the wives. But again, our show is not old enough and mature enough yet to be able to deal with that. But I'm excited for our moms. The truth is, I hope they're not listening yet, but if they actually can figure out how to get on, that in itself will be a miracle and exciting. Some of them, let's just say, have been coming on and off all night trying to figure out how to be on. So I am also excited. Stuff.
I will tell you again, this is a little bit of a foreshadow. My mom is my hero, right? If you ask me who my hero in the world is, it's my mom. I'm very excited to share this platform with her, to have her be a part of my rabbinic life. So I'm super excited.
That's really beautiful. That's such a sweet, nice thing to put it. Broide, what would you say about your mom?
I just hope she can get on tonight. I'm just praying. I told her to call me during the show if she's having any problem connecting.
Yeah, I was thinking about actually sending over my children with some distancing and gloves and masks, but I'm confident they could do it. They'll make it happen.
She's actually intimidated by your moms.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you this,
especially Phil's mom.
I'll tell you. Wow. Okay. I'll tell you something I'll tell you something our listeners probably don't know. They may not know, and our wives would testify to, is I think the three of us probably could be characterized as mama's boys. I know that all three of us, we're really close with our moms. We love them. They take good care of us. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to describe the three of us rabbis as mama's boys.
I'll tell you a great story. When I was working at YU, so a colleague of mine went to some flea market. He came back with a bowl that on the inside says mama's boy. And he brought it to me as a way to make fun of me. Meanwhile, I kept that bowl ever since, because you know what? I wear it with pride. I'm a mama's boy and I'm proud of it. You could take that quote.
I agree. We have a lot to be proud of. This Sunday's Mother's Day, and we're honoring and celebrating our moms by bringing them on soon. Of course, I want to emphasize, as we do every year, that there are people who long and who crave, and they'd give anything in the world to experience what it means to be a mom or a dad. And though we find that balance between celebrating this day, but doing it sensitively and not hurting people, not throwing it in their face or not making them feel bad or pouring salt in wounds. So it's a day that we're grateful for the blessing in our lives, but we pray for those who want to be moms and that they can realize that dream. And that's the balance that we're going to strike tonight. So, in this couple minutes before they come on, Rabbi Broide, what do you think makes a great mom? What's the definition of a great mom?
Great mom is someone that's always thinking about everything. Like there's nothing that just goes, dinners and making sure everything's in the food and clothes. And she's just always there. She's always thinking about everyone's well-being. And then it goes beyond the kids. It goes through the whole community. I don't know how they do it. Can I just tell you one thing? I was just thinking about this as you were talking. One of the kids' teachers sent home, I think this is the difference between moms and dads. One of the kids' teachers sent home an assignment and said, hey, dads, Mother's Day is coming up. Here's a great activity you can do with your kids. Get ready for Mother's Day. The next day, the same teacher sent home an email to the moms saying, listen, I didn't want to spoil the surprise, but I'm pretty convinced most of the dads are not even reading my emails.
That's funny.
Just make sure they read their emails. They have
That's
something
funny.
prepared for Mother's Day. And
That's
moms
funny.
are great. What do you mean? Moms,
Rabbi
moms
Moskowitz,
take care of everything.
you know, again, we're three men discussing what makes a great mom, but you know what, we can, because we each have we're children. So as children, we could talk about what makes our mom great moms. I think they'd be embarrassed if we talked about that in front of them. So Rabbi Moskowitz, what makes a great mom to you?
She would do anything for me. She would take a bullet for me. She's been there for me my entire life. I'll tell you something you might not be expecting. A great mom is someone who keeps the family together, right? Inevitably, with families and relationships and cousins and distant cousins and siblings, and there's always, you know, challenges along the way. A great mom is someone who's able to get their children to look past the day-to-day trivial details and to focus on the big picture of family.
Yeah, that's a great description.
Your mom's always got your back.
Exactly.
She's always got your back. And she's always making peace.
Listen, that maternal instinct, that mama bear, the one who wants you to be happy, selflessly just cares and is devoted to you. And again, with sensitivity to those who are longing to be moms, that maternal instinct or that paternal instinct can be expressed by caring for others and molding and shaping a world. And we continue to address this topic in a sensitive way. But I agree with you. And I think that's what makes us probably such mama's boys towards our moms, is how much they've taken care of us, and they continue to care about us, and they take a bullet for us, and the loyalty their mama bears to us. And we also happen to have three amazing wives, three great Rebbitzins. What they do and what they mean to our children, they're doing a great job. They're raising great children. And I'll tell you, I think it's also fair to say, and I hope you both forgive me for this, but I think all three of us married up. I think we did pretty well in terms of marrying women who are outstanding mothers for our children. So it's a great week, and we'll celebrate in our own private, modest way without flaunting or being insensitive, but it's a great week to celebrate.
100%. Today is Nurse Appreciation Day, National Nurse Appreciation Day. And so I would like to give a shout out to all the nurses out there. That's right. Especially the nurse that I am privileged to share my life with. And nurses don't always get all the fanfare that doctors get, but in many ways, they are the ones who are running the show back there.
And I want to thank a nurse that supported, she's a great fan on the video show yesterday we did.
That video show, we'll get to that in 1 second, but I would just say this, because I've seen Rabbi Moskowitz when he's been under the weather, not feeling well, even dealing with difficult illness. And let me say this about Nurse Moskowitz. There's probably not a harder patient in the world. Is that fair, Rabbi Moskowitz? So, Nurse Moskowitz.
What was my nickname? They called me the big baby.
Yeah, Nurse Moskowitz's level of patience and sensitivity and care, I've seen her in some trying moments. And Nurse Moskowitz, hats off to you. Hats off to you. We salute you. We do salute nurses. They are amazing. Brody, our moms are going to join us any minute. So very quickly, you were all over the media yesterday because it was Giving Tuesday, not for the Brody family directly, but for Giving Tuesday for the Jewish Federation of South Palm Beach County. Am I wrong? Am I wrong to say that you almost single-handedly were able to bring in over $400,000 for Jewish Federation of South Palm Beach County? Is that accurate?
Well, if Matt and Marla are not listening right now, of course, I was the only one responsible for doing that whole thing.
That's what I thought.
No, just kidding. There's a team of about 20 professionals. You had about 50 volunteers making phone calls. And every dollar that was raised benefits our local synagogues, $1 million in tuition assistance to our local day schools. So it was a great day. We still have a long way to go.
But that's a great day. I'll tell you, 400 grand. When are you going to do that for Boca Raton Synagogue, Brody? Rabbi Brody.
When do you want to start? We can do it right now. What's the phone number?
It's pretty amazing,
Who are we calling?
It is pretty amazing, and it's a tribute to you and to your staying power that you basically were. We got.
Here we go.
Oh,
there we go. She had help to get on.
There's very few people that could cut him off in the middle of a sentence.
That's correct. I don't know. I all of a sudden, I got filled with this feeling like, am I in trouble? Did I do something wrong?
You are in trouble, by the way.
First of all, you know what? For graduation, we should bring on our high school principals. That would be an interesting conversation.
For a moment, I thought maybe my report card.
There we go.
Oh man,
Mrs. Moskowitz.
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
All right, we've got Mrs. Moskowitz. Welcome to Behind the Bima. Welcome to Behind the Bima. And we're just waiting. Mrs. Brody's
going. Here we go.
Oh no!
Wow, we got them all.
This is truly incredible. This is really, really amazing. I want to first of all take a moment to thank Mark Bleckner again. He is on. We're going to bring him on a little bit later, but thank you again. The Shabbos light moms. Do you have Shabbos lamps? Do you have Shabbos lights?
I do. Mark Bleckner's an old friend of mine from way, way back.
Oh
He's got
man,
an
he just ruined my Mother's Day gift for you.
It's really, it's amazing. Shabboslight.com. You can get it on Amazon. You can go to the Grove. It's really, Mom, I know you love to read. You love to, my mom, we got three Mom Goldberg. My mom loves to read. My mom's got piles of newspapers, magazines, Torah sources. She loves to read all night long. So Ma, the Shabbos Light. Dad,
Yes.
did you get Mom a
have
present
them.
yet? Okay. Amazing. So check that out. That's fantastic. But as we welcome the moms, we also just want to momentarily throw a bone to next week's sponsor because it's going to be Mother's Day. And that is Who's Your Jeweler? I want to recognize Devorah and Yisrael Feder from J. Feder Jewelers. Who's Your Jeweler? Shabbos Light, good gift, amazing gift, practical gift. You can complement it to sit right on the base of the Shabbos Light lamp with a little piece of jewelry. So you can go to jfeder.com, check out their incredible array, or you can see Dvorah Feder on Instagram. You'll see pictures of her holding up jewelry against every backdrop on the planet. J. Feder Jewelers, we'll talk more about them next week, but they make a great Mother's Day. Moms, welcome to Behind the Bima. Welcome behind the Bima with us.
Oh man.
I want you to know, Rabbi Goldberg, you and I speak in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people. I might be more nervous now than I am on Yom Kippur.
That's no joke.
What are you afraid I'm going to say?
Oh, we can't wait.
The butterflies are here. Well, let's first introduce the moms. Our audience, they know us as public personalities, and they don't necessarily know our moms. So, Mrs. Broide, let's start with the alphabet here. Mrs. Broide, our community, of course, knows you. You're a beloved member of our shul, a pillar of our community, the head of our empty nesters, just that ball of energy. Everybody knows where Rabbi Broide comes from when they meet you. But Mrs. Broide, tell us in a sentence or two about your background, about where you're from when you came to Boca.
Okay, first of all, I want to say I'm so excited that I got onto Zoom. And now that I know what I'm doing, now I can relax, drink my wine, which I have over here.
Ma, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Ma,
What?
We hear you.
we see
We're okay.
your lips are moving, but we can't hear you.
You really can't?
We hear you.
No,
No,
we hear you.
no.
He's just playing with you.
Oh my gosh, don't even scare me. Oh my gosh, because that was another thing. No, I come from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and
Woo! Elizabeth.
yes, whoa, shout out to Elizabeth. And we have other Elizabeth people here, right? Bathsheba. And yeah, I grew up in Elizabeth and spent some time, 12 years in South Africa, and with my late husband, came back here. Now I'm in Florida.
Amazing.
I'm a teacher. I work in Torah Academy right now. I mean, I work in Torah Academy when there's school for me, but yeah. Okay.
Amazing. Mrs. Broide, tell us something about yourself that our listeners don't. Rabbi Broide, tell us something about your mom that people don't necessarily appreciate or know.
She taught in the downtown Elizabeth public school system, or otherwise known, I think, as the Sam Abuff public school system. Is that correct?
Yeah, one of the buildings is. That's right.
Right.
But what are your mom's hobbies? Tell us something about your mom that the audience doesn't know.
I think her hobby is just being proud of me. I think that's the only.
That's good.
I spoke.
Mrs.
Let me
Broide,
tell you something. I put her through many years. I don't
we
even
hope this.
know,
We hope that
she-
hobby can
she
last.
remembers.
Mom Goldberg,
That's great.
Mom Goldberg, right? Alphabetical order. Is that the
Yes.
alphabetical order? Okay, G, right? G M E F G H I J K. Yeah. So, Mom, you're next. Mom Goldberg. Welcome
Yes.
to Behind the Bima. Oh,
Thank
we've got.
you.
Oh, we've got Simon. Simon's one of our moms here. Let's get rid of
Playing
Simon.
the dating game.
Yeah, there we go. See you later, Simon. Mom, welcome Behind the Bima. Before you came on, we were talking about what makes a great mom and how the truth is all three of us are really mama's boys and how much we love our moms. Not only would I not be here without you, Mom, which is somewhat obvious, but you continue to be a big advisor of mine and you mold and shape who I am. And Mom, tell us all a word or two about you and your background.
Well, I too am from Elizabeth, New Jersey, born and bred. But after getting married, we lived in Teaneck, New Jersey for many years. And we moved permanently to both Boca and Israel 5 years ago. So we spend most of the year in Boca and part of the year in Israel.
Beautiful. It's so amazing. And I'll tell you something about my mom people maybe don't know in the Boca part of her life is that when we were growing up, my mom was a Holocaust teacher. She really has a deep understanding of it and taught it in many different places, including in Berea in Elizabeth. A lot of graduates of Berea had my mom as a teacher. But the part they don't know is also she was a kosher kitchen designer, which designing a kosher kitchen is different than designing an ordinary kitchen. And once appeared in the New York Times that did a story about kosher kitchen design and mentioned my mom. And for that and so much more, Mom, we're so proud of you. Mrs. Moskowitz, your son was so nervous about what you're going to say. He actually dropped out before. He disappeared.
We thought he wasn't coming back.
We weren't sure, but
I think my wife cut my Wi-Fi.
That could be. She was a little nervous. She was even more nervous. So Mrs. Moskowitz, tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us something about you.
I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm a hick. And we lived in New York for a few years while my husband was in medical school. And then we moved to Boston, the Boston area, 44 years ago. And I've lived here ever since. I love Boston. It's great. It's a great city.
Amazing. Now, do you really like the Red Sox and Patriots, or do you just do that for Philip?
Oh, no. Where do you think he got it from? Oh, no, I'm a rabid Red Sox Patriots fan.
Let me tell a story that's going to embarrass my mom. Let me tell you how much of a sports fan my mom is. One night, I guess I was in high school. I was finishing up high school. I come into the living room, and the Red Sox had just gotten out. They had lost the last game of the season. They were out. And I see my mom sitting in front of the TV, screaming at the TV, kicking the TV. How dare you, pathetic people. You're not winning. You guys are loot, right? That's the type of fan my mom is.
Unbelievable. Amazing. Rabbi Moskowitz, tell us something about your mom that people may not know. Tell us, does she have a hobby, an interest? Is something about her people don't appreciate?
First of all, my mom is an editor at the New England Journal of Medicine, a very prestigious medical journal. So I'm pretty proud of her for that. Comes very much in handy.
Does she review your drushes?
She does. I don't think I've ever given a drusha that my mom has not reviewed. That's part of me being a mama's boy. And another interesting fact that my mom plays the cello.
Really?
She's played the cello since for a long time.
Not well, but
I'm going to bring on the cello.
She could play our intro.
I have a question for you that I'm a little bit nervous about. It's a debate I've had for several years now with our fact checker, who shall remain nameless. But as an editor at such a prestigious journal, and I want to just say, this is like when you ask a halachic question, I'm not necessarily following your psak or conclusion, but here it is. You ready? Yeah. One space or two after a period?
We do one space only.
No, you're wrong. It's two.
I grew up doing two spaces, but in the journal, I grew up doing two spaces, but in the journal we use one space, probably for space reasons, just to contract the space, but we use only one.
It's New England. You're cheating the people out of the other space.
Wow. Okay, our fact checker, I think, just got very excited just now.
That's correct. Mrs. Broide, let's come back to you, and we're going to go through the alphabet again here. Mrs. Broide, when your son was growing up, when young Josh was growing up, and he reached his maximum height at a young age, but when Rabbi Broide was growing up, at what point did you ever think he'd be a rabbi? Did you ever think that he'd be doing what he's doing today and having the impact that he's having today?
I have to be truthful, I guess, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so when Josh was growing up, he always had very, very strong leadership qualities. Like he was on regional board at NCSY, and he was his grade or school president, class president, I guess it is, at the JEC in Elizabeth. But I never, ever, ever thought that he'd be a rabbi. Actually, if you want the truth, we thought that he'd run off with some rock band, and So, but no,
that's unbelievable.
Not a rabbi. No.
When he went off to Ner Jake, if you had to bet whether there are greater odds that he'd be a rabbi or that he'd need a rabbi to makariv him back, which would you have put the money on?
If he'd be a rabbi or a what? Sorry.
A rabbi or need somebody to bring him back to Judaism? Which would you have bet when he was on his way?
When he went off, I would definitely say he needed somebody to help him get back on.
It's unbelievable. You should be so proud. He's doing really
very proud. Things. We love him.
Yeah,
wow, look at this. I'm on a TV show with the biggest rabbis in the country right now.
He's doing great stuff.
No, I'm serious. Look at this. Mom, come on, look at this. You see what's going on?
Right?
Mom Goldberg, did I tell you how pretty you look tonight? That red sweater? You look so pretty.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mom. At the risk of embarrassing myself, was there any point in my childhood that you would have thought I was going to be a rabbi? What did you think I was going to become?
Let me put it this way. You were probably my most mischievous and rambunctious child. And as you grew up, you were extremely witty and funny. I might even say a little crazy, a little zany. And these were never characteristics that I associated with the rabbinate. I didn't know any rabbis who were like this. But furthermore, as you got older, I saw in you a tremendous resourcefulness, getting things done, figuring out problems, jumping to take command, really a tremendous amount of leadership. And I always said when you were growing up that if I was ever stuck on a desert island, the one person I would want to be with me was you, because you would find me food like Tom Hanks in Castaway. You would find me shelter. You would get the job done, and you would also keep me laughing the whole time we were there.
What a compliment.
And these were
Wait, we're not going to tell Judah and Danielle that you just said that.
By the way, she was on Judah's show before, and she said the same thing to Judah.
These are
First of all, Mom,
I just
also, Mrs.
never
Goldberg,
associated with being the rabbi. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mom, first of all, you're
First of all,
invited
if
back
Simon
each and every
Mirsky's
week,
on,
first of all.
hold on. If Simon Mirsky's on, can we please get a Tom Hanks, Rabbi Goldberg little picture going on for the end of the show tonight?
No way. But that was so sweet.
It has to be Tom Hanks when he had the longest beard, standing on the shore. Yes.
I just want to say the truth is I would shave my beard trim, but my mom's like, just keep growing it longer and longer and longer and keep it aveim. What could I do?
Everybody who knows me knows I travel with scissors.
That's right. Mrs. Moskowitz.
Yes.
Tell us when young Gavriel Pinchas, when young Philip was in Maimonides, when he was growing up, what did you ever believe he'd be a rabbi? Did you believe he'd give sermons? Did you believe that he published an article on the internet today? He's the featured post on yutorah.org, the cover story. It's unbelievable. He's sought after. I want you to know, Mrs. Moskowitz, you don't know, and I'll say this right now publicly, I am regularly having to wrestle search committees from around the country. They call me about Rabbi Moskowitz and I say, he's a thief, drunkard, pedophile. You don't want him, because I have to keep him in Boca. I don't really say that, Rabbi Moskowitz, but I say anything I have to keep him in. I have to say whatever I have to, because I got to keep him in Boca. So Mrs. Moskowitz, did you ever believe that he was going to be a rabbi?
No. No.
Well, that was the most definitive out of all the answers.
No, he was actually, he also was mischievous. I guess there's something about rabbis needing to be a little mischievous when they're young, but he was also by far the most mischievous of my children. He was also the one who drew people toward him all the time. People just somehow wanted to follow him and be near him. So in that sense, I guess he had the makings of it. We all thought he was going to go into finance, make a lot of money, and support the rest of us for the rest of our lives. So I don't know what happened along the way, but it all worked out for the best. Be supported. It's just a few extra letters. What's the difference? There's no question. Listen, he's amazing. We're so proud of him also, and he's doing incredible things. We have the greatest team. We're so blessed here. So, Mrs. Moskowitz, while we have you, tell us something about Philip's childhood that people don't know. Is there an episode, a story that stands out? Is there like the folklore? What is the legacy of Philip in the greater Moskowitz family? Oh goodness. There are a lot.
My Wi-Fi is cutting out again. I think
Phil's gonna be dropped.
Well, Philip actually might not know, but Philip mentioned that I played the cello. He played the clarinet for several years.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
Wow.
We got a lot of questions to
yes,
go
keep it
right
coming. This is getting good.
Can I ask my mom a question? Hold on. Like I was a 13-year-old boy. There was the guitar, there was the saxophone, there was the piano, the drums. What were you thinking when you allowed me to play the clarinet?
First of all, dude, wait till you hear what I played. Just relax. Count your blessings.
I happen to love classical music, and I'm not crazy about guitar classical music. So I think I gave you the choice of the violin or the viola or something like that. And you wanted something more, I don't know what it was, but
Manly?
you decided you wanted something more windy. Yes.
Yeah,
so,
manly. So we went with the clarinet.
we went with the clarinet.
We're gonna have to check. We're gonna have to check with Nurse Moskowitz whether, during these difficult times and trying to get through the day when no one's around, whether Rabbi Philip takes out the old clarinet just to.
No, the old clarinet is in my house. The old clarinet is in my house. He gave it up many years ago.
Hold on, can we just change? Mrs. Goldberg, what did Rabbi Goldberg play that he's so embarrassed about?
He actually took up the violin for a short amount of time.
He was my reject instrument.
And maybe the two of you could get together and entertain
We should do a recital.
I want you to say, first of all, this says it all right here, that Broide grew up on the drums, and I was the violin, and Moskowitz was the clarinet. Pretty much
Every
says
night
it right
she had
there.
to put up with those drums.
The truth is, Phil, our moms really loved us. They wanted to make sure that the girls would stay away from us and we wouldn't get into trouble in our youth. So they had us play those instruments to take care of that. But thank you so much. Mom, anything for, you know what, actually, let's go to Mrs. Broide. Mrs. Broide.
No, let's go back to Mrs. Goldberg. Hold on one second. Let's go back to Mrs. Goldberg. Mrs. Goldberg, tell us about something that Rabbi Goldberg growing up. People know him. We know his writings. We know his classes. We know his sermons. He's a very public figure. Tell us something that would surprise our audience about the great one and only Rabbi Efrem Goldberg.
Well, first of all, he was a tremendous sports enthusiast, loved sports, followed Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, was putting
tell him
up
what my
Michael
room,
Jordan posters.
Yeah, tell him what the room looked like.
All over his room. There wasn't an inch of regular wallpaper paint showing, because every inch of the I'm being reminded that there were Michael Jordan posters on the ceilings as well.
They were everywhere.
So that was one thing. He was a big Yankees fan, continues to be a Yankees fan, that you know. He played baseball. He was a catcher for Little League as a lefty, which is not very common. He was.
By the way, that's catchers where they put the people who play the violin.
No. I want you to know something. I knew you were going to say that. I think I still hold the record for throwing the most men out at second base and picking people off first, because I was a lefty, so I had a great angle to first base. But anyway, please, Mom, before you so rudely
interrupted. He was a
interrupted.
big Billy Joel fan. I don't know how many of you know that. And a story which is in our family that we don't talk about too often is that your rabbi used to cut school in order to go play golf.
Ma, my kids are watching.
And the only reason I know this, and I wouldn't have known, is because I have a very close friend who taught at the same high school that he was attending. And so she was very well aware of the fact that he was supposed to be in school, but then she saw his name on the absence list. And
all right, enough about that.
What we didn't know then was that playing golf during the time he was supposed to be in school was actually his rabbinic training.
That's correct. It was a career.
Florida and going for the rabbinate.
That's correct.
He's raised more money on the
Mrs.
golf
Broide,
course.
Wait, no, hold on. I'm not done with your mom yet. One last question, because all of America wants to know this. The name Efrem, right? I'd say 99.9% are Ephraim. You chose to name your son Efrem. Can you explain that?
Yes, I can explain it. Let's start off with the fact that I have a name that's a very difficult name, which is unrecognizable in America. And I have to tell somebody my name about 4 or 5 times before they even begin to catch on. So naming our children with Hebrew names was very, very important to us. It was really paramount. We wanted to give each of our children one name only, the same name in Hebrew and English, even though it might be pronounced a little bit differently in English, and it had to be a Hebrew name. And therefore, we thought very long and hard about this. At the same time, I wanted the name not to be a difficult name and to be something that was recognizable. So Ephraim was a name that came from the name Ephraim, and we thought it was extremely close, and that would be something that somebody could read and pronounce correctly and hear and absorb correctly. And that's how we named him.
Wow, I never knew that.
And to this day, I get confused for Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. on a regular basis. So anyway, that must be the violin also. Mrs. Broide, I've met your daughter several times, Josh's sister, and it's really hard to think of people with such different personalities as Josh and his sister. But they're, you know, they're from the same family, same parents, same upbringing, same community, same school system. What do you attribute that to? Josh's charisma, his personality, his craziness. Where do you see that coming from?
I don't know. I think, I don't know. I didn't really think about this, but Josh has got more my personality in that I'm more out there. And my husband was very, very quiet, and he spoke only when he had something to say. Where I speak when I don't have anything to say, I just talk. And he had people listening to him, and I don't usually have people listening to me. So that's the difference. But Josh is more my personality. He looks like his father, but he's more me, and yeah, I think that would be it. But if you want me to tell you about something that that nobody knows about Josh,
yeah, please tell us. Yeah, for sure, tell us.
There's actually three things I want to mention, but they're short. Okay, one, I'm going to start. Some people might know already that he was born in Cape Town, South Africa, and on December 25th. And back then, there were, in Cape Town, you weren't born, a woman gave birth in what they called a nursing home, which was like a birthing hospital. It wasn't a big hospital. And it was just for having babies. And the one that my doctor was affiliated with was a Catholic hospital or nursing home. So Josh was born around 6:30 at night, and then on Christmas Day, and around 7 o'clock, the nuns with their habits, the black, the white, came into the room to wish me a congratulations. And they said, Mrs. Broide, you've got the only Christmas baby this year. And we have a manger set up, with the wise men and the, I don't know, sheep, goats, whatever there. You don't suppose we could put your baby in the manger? And now I said, no, we're skipping the manger. But anyway, when he got
that is
older,
a great story.
That, by the way, that explains so much.
Okay,
that's why he thinks he's the savior.
I know. But fast forward, I'd say, well, okay, there's a lot of different things. He was a drummer. Okay, so you play the violin and the violin and the flute. He was a drummer.
Clarinet.
When he was,
Khalil.
I don't know how old, Josh, he'll be able to say better. He had his drum set in his room because there was no other place to put the drum set. Where was his room? On top of my room in the attic. So every time he played the drums and the boom, boom, my husband and I thought the drums and Josh are going to come down in our bed. And the house was built in 1924, so I'm sure it would have. So Josh, the third thing besides being born on the 25th and playing the drums, he also was like a Jewish carpenter. He knew how to build, and he learned this during his summer jobs, but whatever. He built himself a soundproof room in the basement to move his drum set into the basement where he could play.
Good job.
He
Strong
said
work.
It was soundproof. The neighbors didn't think it was soundproof. I didn't really think it was so soundproof. Most of the people didn't think. But anyway, he built this room, played the drums. So we have here a boy born on the 25th who was a carpenter, and he plays the drums. So pretty much.
Well, that's strong.
I don't think Jesus played the drums.
Strong work, baby Jesus.
What? What?
Thank you for all that. Mom Broide, Mom Goldberg, Mom Moskowitz. We want to thank you for joining us tonight, coming on board. We want to wish you a happy Mother's
Thank
Day.
you guys.
And again, with sensitivity, those who are longing to be moms, we hope that dream is realized. We're davening that everybody who wants to should have healthy, happy children, shalom bayis, nachas. But we want to thank you for everything you've done. Before we let you go, we're going to throw you a curveball. This was not in the questions I sent you, but you ready? I'm going to be in big trouble for this. I'm going to ask each of you in one word to say, what is your daughter-in-law's most outstanding quality? One word. What word comes to mind that makes you so proud to be the mother-in-law of your daughters-in-law that makes you love them? I'm going to just buy you some time right now. What word makes you so proud? Yeah, not only are we mama's boys, you're not only close with each of us, but we're also blessed that there's beautiful relationships between our wives and our moms, which is not something we take for granted either. So Mrs. Brody, rather, baby Jesus' mom.
So I
call you Mary. what
no joke. Mary was my great grandmother.
Yeah, I know.
My great grandma Mary, great granny Mary.
I said this so many times before, and I'm glad that I don't know how many people are watching tonight, but I've said this so many times that my daughter-in-law Simone has made Josh better. And how many mother-in-laws can say that?
One word. Give us one word.
She's not, whatever. But one word I'd say.
This is one word.
Okay, no, one word is, I think she's, and Josh too. Both are inspirational. I think both of them. I think Josh he inspires people every day with his outreach.
One word.
Both of them together, I think, really
Mrs. Brody.
inspire me. They inspire me to be a better version of me.
Seeing how you understand one word. Seeing how you understand one word. You should have been a rabbi. Your definition of one word. Mom Goldberg. One word.
Yes.
One word for Yocheved. One word.
I think if I had to choose one word, and it's not easy to choose only one, I would have to say chesed. The reaching out to people, the calling people who are alone, calling people who are ill, calling people who have struggles, inviting people coming to the house constantly, baking for people, cooking for people, visiting them in hospitals, and doing it all the time with tremendous pain. A tremendous amount of pain, and that smile.
Are you saying she's a keeper, Ma?
I think so.
She's a keeper. Mrs. Moskowitz, give us one word about Nurse Moskowitz.
Okay, so I'm going to cheat and give you two words.
Okay.
And patient. Both attributes which have endeared her to me forever. She's absolutely, without question, the best gift Philip has ever given me in his entire life.
Wow, that's big. That is big. That's amazing. Well, moms, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It's really amazing having you, and we're so grateful that you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Love you, Mom.
Love you too.
Love you. Happy Mother's Day to you, and don't take it personally when I get rid of you right now.
Kick you off.
Happy Mother's Day.
There we go. All right, guys. How do you? How would you say that went?
That was great.
That was fun.
Got a lot of texts. People are saying this is the best show we've ever done.
I'll just say this. I'm getting texts from people who thought I was cool, asking me more about the violin.
I know. Seriously, that totally.
Flute.
That was a little rough.
That's like.
That was a little rough. The flute. Your mom's
clarinet.
A classic,
Come on.
Your mom's a classic. Let's see. Resend. Okay. Sorry, just had to take care of some technical there. Okay, we are back. So let's move right along. Our moms are great, but our listeners may not necessarily care only about our moms. I see Marla's joined. So Marla, just so you know, Rabbi Brody took complete responsibility for raising the entire Federation campaign earlier. And $400,000.
Single-handedly raised it.
He's the man. We're so grateful. I want to pose the following question to you guys. So I was going to share a screen, but it's getting late. I don't know the technology. This poll came out, and I want to read it to you, and I want to hear your reaction to it. Americans... Brody, listen carefully. You following?
Yes, Marla's texting me right now.
Marla's texting you right now? All right, good. Ask her what her pledge is. Ask her, get her money. Percent of U.S. adults who say that as a result of coronavirus outbreak, their own religious faith has become stronger, weaker, or hasn't changed much. You got it? They polled people. This is a formal, official, credible poll. They polled people and they said, as a result of this coronavirus, has it strengthened your faith or weakened your faith or not changed your faith? Okay? So are you listening? Okay. Christians,
If he's about to ask us the question. I wasn't really listening.
35%.
Oh, you got it. I shared it with you. Christians, 35% of Christians say that this virus has made their faith stronger. 58% hasn't changed much. And then it's broken down evangelical and so on. Catholics, 27% made their faith stronger, and 63% it hasn't changed much. You ready for the Jewish faith? You ready?
Yeah, what did it say?
Only 7% say that it's made their faith stronger, and nearly 70% say, it hasn't changed much. So I want to ask you, what do you make of that? What do you make of the fact that the Jewish people of all the religions say that this whole episode has had the least impact on their faith and it hasn't changed much? How do you interpret that?
Isn't that the story of the Jewish people? Right? Isn't that the story of the Jewish people, the challenge that we have to constantly see God's hand in our lives? Right? Isn't that the challenge that whether it was the splitting of the sea or the 10 plagues or Matan Torah, or you read any story in Tanakh, certainly in the later, parts of Tanakh, isn't that the entire story? Is that the Nevi'im lament the fact that Hashem is in our lives. He's doing amazing things. His hand is guiding the world, and we're sleeping at the wheel and we're oblivious. So I don't know how true that is. I don't know who they polled. I don't know which denominations of Judaism they polled. But at its core, that is the challenge of every Jew. The challenge of a Jew is to see world events through the context and through the prism of a relationship with Hashem. Yeah,
but I guess, first of all, I shouldn't have shown you the question in advance because you clearly gave that a lot of thought. But
no, I really didn't, by the way.
My point, you cheated. My point is, what do you expect from a guy who plays the clarinet? And one space, boy. 2 spaces. Definitely 2 spaces. You agree, right? 2 spaces
for
when
sure
you type
too.
your drusha?
For sure, too.
2 spaces.
2 spaces.
2 spaces.
Yeah.
I guess my question, Rabbi Broide, is the following. What I really mean to ask is this. The fact that Jewish people, 70% feel their faith is unchanged by this episode, the question is this. Is that, in fact, an indictment that we've not lived through this and we're having greater faith? Or maybe it's a compliment. Maybe our faith level was so high, was so strong, that the fact that this curveball that's been thrown our way hasn't changed our faith is not, in fact, a criticism, but really is a reflection of how strong the faith and resiliency has been. We've been through a lot of things. Oppression, persecutions, exterminations, expulsions. We've been through a whole lot. So what do you think?
I think in the scheme of things, it doesn't really seem like such a big deal. Obviously, people are dying, and it's obviously serious. People die every year from many different things. But at the end of the day, this is not an attack on the Jews. It's not directed to the Jews like some of the other attacks are. So I know that it's obviously not uniquely Jewish. But at the same time, I think the faith question is going to be something which we're going to be battling for years to come. I don't know that we're done with this yet. I don't think that this episode is even. I don't think anyone understands what's going to happen after this is over. I think we're going to be in a whole new world. We don't understand this right now.
Yeah,
everyone's
it's a good question.
Kind of at a loss. Yeah.
I got a few comments that have come in. First of all, we got a comment as Abba, the sass is out of control. You need to be nicer to Rabbi Moskowitz, signed your girls. So
I agree.
I want to thank my daughters who are always ready and willing and able to offer feedback in real time to me whenever they think I need it. So thank you for that. We also have a question, Rabbi Broide, asking, what's with the hat? Tell us about where's that hat from? What is with that hat?
Hey, so lately I've been wearing hats. Yesterday I was wearing a bandana of sorts. It was a big day, and I was in front of the camera a lot. And I mentioned last week that I just had it's almost something equivalent to like chemotherapy cream. I know that sounds pretty intense, but it actually was. It burned my whole forehead. You can't really see it now. I intentionally put the cap over it. But at the end of the day, we came forward with some great sponsors. So besides serving a practical purpose for me personally right now, having a hat on, I get to wear something which is great. I know we're not talking about this right now. I think we're getting to, you said, next week.
Right.
But it is certainly a great gift for
listen. But another big thank you to Mark Bleckner and ShabbosLight.com. You could order it on Amazon. You can go to the Grove. It's really a great gift for Mother's Day. If you're looking for some jewelry, you can go to jfeder.com, JFeder Jewelers, and we're so grateful to our sponsor for making it happen. We have a few minutes left, and let me bring up another topic. We talked about moms and Mother's Day. We talked about our parents who exposed and revealed a lot of things about us that we wish maybe they
will never live down.
That we will never live down. But let me bring up another topic, and as soon as I remember what it is, I'll pose it exactly to you. What was the other topic I was going to bring up? I was going to ask you right now.
So I think last week we fixed Rabbi Broide's Wi-Fi. Next week we got to get him a pair of headphones.
First of all, wait till you see what we have in the mail. It's supposed to come today. Didn't show up, so I had to make do. I had to ask a Hoover and say, hey, listen, can I borrow your headphones?
Yeah, for sure.
She's like, why? I'm like, just trust me. Just don't make any noise.
What did you guys discover about yourself during this time? Before we went into coronavirus, did you think you were an extrovert or an introvert? And has that changed now that you've been living essentially hibernating for 2 months?
You gonna go, Phil? I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'll take
happen
this
to.
one.
How would you have characterized yourself before this began? What would Nurse Moskowitz, what would Ariel have said about
So
you?
I don't think it's changed. I don't think it's changed. I think I'm an ambivert, which if you Google, it's in between an extrovert and an introvert. In other words, there are parts of me that are enormously extroverted. I love being with people. I love interacting with people. I love being in a big shul with tons of action.
Right.
But there's definitely an introverted part of me that enjoys, coming back to the privacy of my own home. I need time by myself. I value the time by myself. I mean, you guys know that for me is running. It's my time. No one's around me. I do my best thinking then. So I'm definitely in between. I always was. And I don't think that's changed dramatically during coronavirus. I mean, I think there are times where I crave that human interaction and I'll be texting with people and calling people. And then there are times where I'll just go out back and listen to the breeze and say to myself, I love peace and quiet. What about you, Rabbi Goldberg?
So 1 second. So in the end of the day, so you're somewhere in between. Basically, you're hedging.
Ambivert.
Like
No, I'm not hedging.
Did you just make that word up?
No, it's
that a
actually
word,
a real
ambivert?
word. Yeah. And I've always thought that. I'm not hedging at all. I think, and you and I talk about this, there are parts of us that love being with people and love interacting with people. And then there are times where you just need to go and do a little hisbodedus and be by yourself with your creator.
Right. That's fair. That's fair. So I think that's actually a remarkable level of self-awareness. You thought about this, you know who you are, you know what you need at different times. And I admire that. That's a lot of self-awareness. Girls, am I being nice to him now? Is that good? Rabbi Brody, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
You know,
It's funny. I'm not
extrovert, introvert.
Yeah, I'm not in a middle kind of guy. I'm telling you, I am all introvert, total introvert. I love
isn't that
No, I'm
shocking?
telling you alone. No,
Throwing the flag. Hold on,
right
I'm
now
throwing
you're both thinking. I don't know the definition of the word. You're thinking I'm getting mixed up. The answer is no. I'm actually know what it means, and I love being alone when I'm alone. I love it. I love this. You know,
we're getting several comments in. Brody, hold on, Rabbi Brody. We're getting look who's joined us. We're getting several comments in. First of all, Michelle Diamond says if we'd use one space, we'd save hours a year. But I'm not even sure it's worth it. I got to tell you, I think
not worth it. Two spaces.
Two
First of all, on the
better.
eyes, what Michelle doesn't appreciate is when you have a drasha and you're glancing quickly down in it, you need space.
We're getting some feedback here. Simon, turn your
Simon.
Like a Pac-Man machine? What's he got going on?
I don't know what's going on.
He's got Simon in the back.
We're basically getting Zoom bombed by one of our own friends. But yeah, no, Michelle, it's a fair point. Maybe it's save time. Not sure it's worth it. But Rabbi Brody, coming back to you, anyone who knows you, who sees you on Facebook Live all day, out there, ball of energy, march of the living, on stage, grabbing the mic, wanting the mic in the spotlight, would never believe you're an introvert. But if anyone's been at a Shabbos meal where all of a sudden he disappears, you would believe he's an introvert. So tell us about that.
What about you, Rabbi Goldberg? What about you?
Well, hold on, Rabbi Brody. How do you define?
I just need to be alone. I'm telling you, I just love being alone. There are times during the meal. I don't know. I'm going to get into the detail of which band does this, but there's a big band tours around stadium tours, and between even like during the guitar solo of every song, he just goes in and he just books off the stage every time. So like during Shabbos meals, Simone knows every 20-25 minutes, I got to get up and I got to leave for a few minutes. I just need some time. You need to just
put on headphones, you put on your music, you go in, not on Shabbos, obviously, but you go into.
Well, I have my Shabbos light, my Shabbos light, which shines so bright on my Oracle business card.
That's right. Where can anyone get the Shabbos light?
You get it right at
Grove.
On the Grove, yeah.
That's right. We want to thank Oracle. It was our first sponsor.
Oracle.
Really got the ball rolling. Sal Abadi and Sal Abadi, both of them. We want to thank them from Oracle. Any home health care needs, they need to be able to see in the night on Shabbos. They can get a Shabbos light. And if they want to buy some jewelry for the aide who's taking care of your parent, then you can go to J. Feder Jewelers. Simon, you continue to bomb us, so we might as well. You're going to bring us out of our program tonight.
We just bombed him, apparently.
There goes.
Rabbi,
Simon.
you got to give your answer. Introvert, extrovert.
I'm still working through my answer. It's interesting.
So I'm going to tell you, I probably, other than your wife, I probably know you better than anyone in the world. And by the way, I might include your parents with that right now. I probably spend more time with you than anyone other than your wife, and maybe even more than your wife. You are the most extroverted person I've ever met. Really? Yeah. So I've never met someone who relaxes specifically by enjoying the company of other people.
You know, it's interesting you say that, but I discovered, the reason I thought of this question is I discovered a lot about myself during this whole time. And I want to be very clear. I miss our community. I miss seeing people. I miss the hugs. I miss the energy. I miss the face-to-face. I thrive off of those connections and that time and being together, and I really miss it. But on the other hand, I've really also enjoyed a lot of being able to retreat and go inside and spend time. And I think I really discovered about myself that maybe I'm more of an introvert than I thought I was. And I'm with Brody on this, that with Rabbi Brody, that, you know, people can confuse that in some ways you connect with others externally, you draw energy, but also just to sometimes recharge, you need to just be, you need to just exist, you just do your thing. And you know, so I'm not sure. It's a good question. We did have our fact checker.
You are ambiverts. You are an ambivert like I am.
Yeah, we do have a definition. Our fact checker has submitted, although I don't know what credibility he has since he believes it should be one space, not two. But an ambivert is someone whose normal overall behavior is between introversion and extroversion, and an omnivert is someone who can be either at different times. So I might be an omnivert. So I don't know.
People who play the violin are oftentimes omniverts.
Yeah, I hear that. Flute boy. But listen, the truth is that I guess the point that we're bringing up is that as much as we're going through a crisis right now, we're also learning about ourselves.
Oh yeah.
If you take the time for 100%. Some self-awareness, ask questions about yourself and learn from the people around you. It's really a time of learning and of growing and of learning about ourselves. So our dear friend Simon, the winner of our talent show, was going to come back on for a couple minutes spot at the end here. But you know, there's actually
didn't figure out what our moms figured out.
Well, there's a big lesson in what happened tonight is that, you know, there's a mission in Pirkei Avos that if you try to do something for everything, it has its time. Don't try to do something before it's time. And Simon tried to join a little early tonight and we removed him. And then there went the link. He wasn't able to rejoin. And so a person has their moment and you have to go with the moment Hashem gives you and the time that he gives it to us. And you can't advance it. You can't make it happen earlier or later than it's meant to be. You got to embrace it in the time it's meant to come. So, there's a lesson to be learned, and we want to thank Simon for teaching us that tonight.
Let's just hope his jokes can be used again next week.
I hope so. Rabbi Brody, Rabbi Moskowitz, I think this is a wrap on episode 5.
What a show tonight.
This was fun. This was a fun one.
And trust me, everybody, if you like this one, wait till you see what's coming next week.
Yeah, we're really just getting started and we're just getting into our groove. And we keep thanking our sponsors. They mean the world to us. So we want to thank Sal again, getting us started with Oracle. We want to thank Shabbos Light, our dear friend Mark Bleckner. He's done a great job with great product. And I'm not just saying it. It's we've used it. My kids use it and we have them all over our house. You can get
Mark,
one.
I'd like to use it also if you happen to have an extra.
They're affordable, they're practical, and they're sturdy. You're not going to have to replace it. And J. Fetter Jewelers, wait till you see the bling around Rabbi Brody's neck next week.
Wait till you see
jewelry.
That. By the way, can I just give you a little heads up on J. Fetter? First of all, the guy, I went to yeshiva, back in the day near Yisrael.
With Yisrael?
Yeah, near Yisrael with Yisrael. And I just went recently before the wedding. I wanted to get Simone. Simone wanted to get something reset, since 23 years. So we walk in and he's, I'm walking over and he's like, yeah, let me bring you to this section.
Where to take
they have something for everybody.
Yeah, there you go. In some stores, when they take you to the back, it's where they have the really expensive stuff. When they took you to the back, it's because, here's the...
Who's your jeweler? He's got something. He's got seriously something every price range. He's got something special. I don't know if Marla's still listening, but Brody, now that you have that 400K, it's time to go back to J. Fetter Jewelers and get something a little bit nicer. What I'm wearing next week. There goes my vort from Pirkei Avos. Okay, ready to take us out of tonight's episode. We welcome back the winner of the Boca Raton Synagogue Talent Show, the inaugural winner, the one and only
blower extraordinaire,
the inimitable, the one and
only.
They
tried to keep me out, and I kept putting myself back in. So I want to understand something. Am I there? Can you see me?
No.
Yes, we can see you.
Just before I start, I just want to review. You played clarinet. You played, was it flute, violin, and what did I play? Oh yeah, slide guitar and a wicked blues harp. Okay, cool. I needed to remind myself. Listen, last week before I left, you remember you asked me to tell you something about improv?
Yes.
Well, do you remember about 17 years ago, my troupe actually performed at the Shul?
Yes, I do. I think that was the night that you ended your career in improv, wasn't it?
No, well, I had been part of that troupe for a while, and you hired our troupe to play there, and I didn't play. I didn't join in with them that night.
I remember.
Because everybody knows you don't make a sheri tsar where you make hamotzi. Okay, so here we go. I want to start a new segment, and that is
Simon. Remember how much time we allocated you, right?
Yeah. Well, how much?
As much as Mrs. Brody.
Yeah. What happened to the waiting room?
One word.
I was going to wait patiently in the green room, and you blocked me.
We need a little bit more sponsorship to get a green room. We're not there yet.
Oh, then I'm going to sponsor. I have a sponsor. I want to thank Joey Lasco for lending me his sous vide cooker. I made the most incredible brisket tonight. Unbelievable. Joey Lasco, thank you very much. It's like butter. Really fantastic.
All right, Simon,
Okay.
let's get to your bit.
Yeah, I'd like to. So letters, mailbag. This is the behind the Bima mailbag. Okay. And I don't know where I have my phone and my computer on. Where do you see me? You see me here?
I don't know.
Is that-
We're good. We're good. Do your thing.
That's fine. Anyway, so I have a letter from Anonymous, which I know you like. You love anonymous letters. And it says, Dear Rabbis, I've been a fan of your show since the very beginning, before it got better. From the first episode, I found it to be lively, informative, and very entertaining. This surprised me, as the title, Behind the Bima, led me to believe that it was actually going to be a gritty and hard-hitting expose on abuse within the rabbinate. If I were to make a lighthearted documentary about exhausted birthday clowns taking a nap in their cars in between hired events, delighting children with animal balloons, I wouldn't call it Backseat Birthday Clowns When the Laughter Stops. Nevertheless, I will continue to watch your show, but may I suggest that if you decide to keep this name, you post a disclaimer that viewer discretion is not necessary and that it is in fact family friendly despite its ominous title. There's more I'd like to say, but it's my daughter's birthday today and there's a very well-rested looking birthday clown knocking at my door. Thank you, Anonymous.
Well
I think
done.
it's
Well
pretty
done,
good.
Simon.
Yeah.
Well done, Simon.
Not bad.
That wasn't the only feature. Also,
Stick to show for blowing.
Yeah. No. Listen, that was a real letter. And the show is called Behind the Bima. You think what you like. Also, being a viewer with like the congregation, I'm watching your show, but now that I'm a regularly featured cast member, I want
yet to be determined.
No. Yeah, I'll have theme music next week. I wanted to be a liaison of sorts and allow the community to access your collective wisdom. So I encourage them to submit to me any questions that they have about Judaism, about Torah, about being a rabbi. And there was a tremendous response. I got a bag of mail, and I want to read the first one tonight.
Simon, can you first of all make clear that none of us have seen this, and are we going to be okay with it?
My children are
You should be
watching.
okay.
Okay.
No, I think you'll be okay.
And remember, we're in the wrapping up segment.
Yeah.
Are there any Malaysians in the audience?
Come on, Simon.
If so, you'll be okay. Okay. So anyway, listen, this is the first question, and to kick it off, it's for all three of you. I want you to listen. I want you to think about it. And whoever wants to answer first can, you just jump right in. Here it is. Rabbis, how much would you say you pull in a year after taxes? Anybody?
We want to thank Simon for coming on tonight. Simon, you were great as always. Thank you so much for being with us. We love you. We'll see you, please God, sometime in the future. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Mark, are you there? Can you hear us, Mark?
You got to unmute him.
Mark Bleckner, are you there?
Unmute yourself. There you go.
Mark, you there?
I'm here.
Mark, thanks for your sponsorship tonight. We really
I
appreciate
love that
it. Thanks for
Boston
what you do.
accent, Mark.
It was a pleasure being part of your show. And I'm a fan of yours, not only for the show, but the three of you, at least the two of you, I don't know about Brody, but the two of you made our Yontif this year. Debbie and I and Philip, Rabbi Moskowitz knows that who we are. Debbie and I were alone this Pesach, except for all the photographs of all our grandchildren on the empty 8 chairs in the dining room. And one of our sons went with Rabbi Moskowitz to school at Maimonides, and he was also born on Christmas.
Oh, wow. Also named?
When I came down from the
Josh.
my wife,
Yeah, but was he placed in a manger?
I'll tell you in a second. When I came down from the elevator and I turned the corner to go to the nursery, they greeted me with little baby Josh, he wasn't named obviously at that time, with a Santa Claus hat all wrapped up. And they said that the Channel 7 TV was ready to interview me as the first father of the first Christmas baby. I was the president of the Young Israel of Brookline that year, and I had to decline.
Wow. That's hilarious.
So,
That's amazing.
Hatzlacha to all of you.
Mark, thanks for coming on. Thanks for your sponsorship. Great product, shabboslight.com. Everyone should get one. Amazing. Shiloh Winery. Support our brothers and sisters in Israel during this hard-hit time. We have a great event. You can sign up. Space is getting filled up Thursday, May 21st, 9 p.m. We have Amichai Lori of Shiloh Winery. He's going to teach us everything we need to know about kosher wines. Rabbi Broide, Rabbi Moskowitz. That's a wrap on another episode. It was a lot of fun tonight. Wishing the moms a happy Mother's Day. And
thank you, moms.
Moms, have your dreams realized. My friends, this is Rabbi Broide, Rabbi Moskowitz, and me, Rabbi Goldberg, telling you, stay healthy, stay happy, stay holy. Have a great night.
See you next time.